Hey, gang. Good morning. It's Thursday. We're getting there. Another weekend. I know that's something that everybody enjoys. It's just two more work days for me. And I don't mind that, actually. Let's see. The. Oh, now I can't get into spaces. The cult of MAGA Republicanism. Copy that so when it denies me, I have it to type in again. Oh, there we go. And we're started on spaces. Something I'm trying today. So if you get a moment, find us on Twitter. And let's see, let's get rid of that one. Get rid of that overlay. Put that one up. There we are. Episode number 250814. That's the date. In case anybody has not figured that out. That is what we use as our episode numbers. Instead of 1 through 5,000 and whatever, we use the actual date. So it'll tell you where we're at or when we're at and when we're doing whatever. Today, we're going to begin a series of the cult of MAGA Republicanism. Now, I don't think there's much left of the Republican Party for this reason. I'm trying to make the microphone not so much the, excuse me, the focus of the camera. One other thing. Hold on. Speaking of cult, I've actually turned down the lights in the background. Put the light on me a little bit. See if that helps the effect. Hop over to Twitter and go to the account that we use to stream the video to, which is Yerg's Up Middle. It's up the middle is a baseball phrase. It's one of the reasons why I use it. But also, obviously, the political connotation. So up the middle is all over Twitter and the rest of the internet. Also, Twitter limits the number of characters you can use in a handle. So, put Yerg's Up Middle. That's for the show. Not only are we live there on video, but I've discovered accidentally earlier this week, and I think this is working, that I can also do Twitter Spaces at the same time. If you're not familiar with that, Twitter Spaces is the audio-only version of broadcasting or meeting chat room that's on Twitter. Twitter Studio, I guess, is what is the video side. I think right now I'm looking at the Spaces platform, and I believe that we are successfully broadcasting to both. Why is that relevant? Why is that an issue? Why do I care? Well, because you can enter into the chat on the video side, and that will show up in my chat column here on my dashboard. Like Superfan Ken joins, in this case from Twitch, says, "Good morning. You're right. There isn't much of a Republican Party anymore. The group has been infected." Well, that's what we're going to talk about. There may be some pseudo-Republicans, some Republicans who have left Mitt Romney, Adam Kinzinger, Liz Cheney, or a few. And Ironically, for Liz Cheney, I just saw ratings, approval ratings for the current administration and regime. Wyoming is the most favorable state to the current authoritarian. So it doesn't exactly bode well for her, but I think she's doing fine. Anyway, on Twitter, there's both the live video, which we're on, I think, and also Twitter Spaces. Why is that cool? Well, if you want to watch the show and you're a Twitter guy or X, you can, the posts aren't loading on that. I wonder if I'm stepped on somebody's pee-pee. So now it's not loading. It says that I'm broadcasting. So you can, if you click on the logo, you can join the space. We'll talk about why both are key in a second. Is anybody else having any issues with Twitter? Because it's saying that, at least for that particular profile, posts aren't loading right now. Try again. I hit home. And yet it's... This is one of the reasons, actually, why I left. Oops, something went wrong. Please, no. I'm trying to get in now. Okay, there we go. It worked finally. So up the middle, my channel is broadcasting the video. Get the phone out of the camera. Is broadcasting the video of this, which I've been doing. I broke down and spent the money for the check mark and went back and added Twitter as a destination. And honestly, we're at least getting some views, and there's people coming back and watching later, which is what happens usually on Facebook. We get hundreds a day on Facebook after the fact. And I know that's not a lot for some, but it's a start. We're still small, I know that. But the point about having both of them, both the live video and Twitter Spaces, I'm trying to make this more interactive. And when I say interactive, I mean less texting and more you having literally a voice. That's why we're working on figuring out the WhatsApp account. I have a number. I have WhatsApp. It's just that when we had it on the other day, it reverbed the entire show again, and we couldn't stop the loop, so we had to cut it. But if you were to join, and I have it here open on my desktop right in front of me, if you were to join the show via Twitter Spaces and listen through there, you can raise your hand there, and I can allow you to speak. And I already know that will come through the whole system. So it's just like you placed a phone call, and you can go through, not only talk to me directly on Twitter Spaces, but all couple thousand people listening right now. And I know that's actually, the radio and the other social media platforms and so on. Tomorrow we'll be back on in London, Tuesdays and Thursdays with UG Media. You can catch that, theug.media, channel XL. They've got 2 channels on that website. Also tomorrow, Matt Deemer will be joining us, so we'll be on his Substack, and he puts us on something else too. I'm not sure. But that's something else I'm learning, is Substack, and posting to that as well. posting to our own blog feature on the mastiffmedia.com, or excuse me, the mastiff.media website. It's not .com, it's .media. And I should be able to, I don't know how to check it yet. I just upgraded my Google One account to the Google, whatever the hell it is, their office space thing. And I set up the email. You can get me Yergs at mastiffmedia.com or Yergs at yergs.com. I mean, I still kind of like that when it's shortest. It's easiest. If you misspell it once, you'll misspell it again. But it's a more simple and more familiar .com than it is anything else. All right, so the cult that is the MAGA Republican Party. And I do differentiate. The current Republican Party as a whole, clearly dominated by the MAGA movement, is nothing close to Reaganism. Ronald Reagan was for opening the borders, in part because he understood that's where a lot of the labor came from. He knew that much of the labor happening in this country in tough, unwanted, blue-collar jobs. Now, I say unwanted, I mean nobody wants to do them. Nobody wants to work in an orchard all day for minimal money. Nobody wants to wash dishes. I've done that. That was one of my immediate retirement job. I washed dishes at a restaurant to keep me from going stupid. It actually made me more stupid, which made me wiser. Realizing that there are people in life, that is the only type of job they do. And we need them. You want to go to a nice restaurant, you need somebody that cares about the cleanliness of the dishes you're eating off of. You need somebody that cares about the utensils and mixing bowls and broiler trays and baking pans that the chef is using. A lot of people don't care about that. Some of them were my coworkers at a local restaurant. You need somebody that's going to be willing to be out in the hot sun, working in other fields besides orchards, but also working construction on highways, on buildings, on homes. Again, for minimal money. The thing about that minimalistic payment is that for the people crossing the border at their own risk who happen to make it here are getting, if you can imagine this, a pay increase by taking that job. It's actually a better life for them. And all they've been doing is coming here, working, living in shitty conditions, having no life, and getting up and going back to that same shitty job the next day. In many cases, 7 days a week. And here we are, the inventors of a 3-day weekend, bitching about not having one or enough of them. Right, Gunther Eagleman? There's this one conservative blowhard that is just such a mouthpiece. He hasn't had an original thought in his life. But his Twitter handle, you can actually subscribe and pay for this shit too. Political commentator. I love all these other political commentators. They actually know what they're talking about. America First, MAGA, Christian. It's like that's something to be proud of. I stand with President Trump. Yeah, well, you're a moron. And until proven otherwise, I believe Michelle Obama is a dude. Well, here's the thing that you don't seem to understand, Gunther. Nobody's got to prove shit to you. You don't matter that much. He's 51 years old. He looks 71. And my parents are in their 70s who look better than this asshat. He has 4 kids, 2 are adopted. Great. You've done one thing right. You adopted 2 of the kids, so that's not your sperm. He's a straight white Christian man. Nobody cares that you're Christian, except other Christian nationalist assholes. Because a real Christian doesn't care what faith you are. I've never been fired from a job. Well, I guess the question bodes then, have you actually ever had one? Bigger question there, dude. I've never been charged with a crime. 2 speeding tickets. Well, I don't know if you're aware of this, but that's actually against the law to speed. So, yes, you have. I lived in Commie, California until moving to Texas in 2007. So now you're in fascist Texas. I left police work to buy back a company I sold in 2014. No, you left police work because you couldn't handle it. Otherwise, you'd say what company you bought. I'm a proud America First MAGA patriot. Okay, here's this is my favorite. Remove children from the room because I might say a few things here. For those in the world who are patriots, they, and I'm not going to say we, because it's not my place to do so, they do not call themselves patriots. History does. They, genuine patriots, do not need to put patriot on their social media profiles because they already know that our penises are large enough. We don't need to boost our ego any further. Patriot is not a excuse me. Patriot is not a title that you wear during the course of your career or a job. It is a legacy that you leave behind you after you're gone. America First. Yeah. Why is he spending so much time on Russia if we're America First? And why does the economy suck worse than it did under Biden if we're America First? I have no pronouns and laugh at those that do. Okay, so you're an asshole. With or without pronouns, anytime you want to laugh at somebody that's different from you, you're an asshole. Yes, I'm being an asshole today. because asshats like Gunther with a C, Eagleman, who shouldn't have the name Eagle in his last name because he doesn't deserve it, piss me off. This is what's wrong with our country. Sheep like this douchebag is exactly what's wrong with our country. The last thing he has on this long list of stupid shit. I'd call our government a shit show. Yeah, now it is. Because douchebags like you support it. I am not vaccinated or boosted. Good. Darwinism, my friend. I hope you die. Not sorry. I never wore a mask. Yeah, well, maybe you should. And not to breathe cleaner air, but to save the rest of us the problem. I do not support funding wars overseas. What's your opinion on Israel? Should we be out of Israel and let them fend for themselves? That's not a good MAGA responsibility or opinion to have. I want our borders closed. They are. Stop believing Fox News. Think for yourself, you pussy. Oh, this is painful. I will never stop advocating for real conservative candidates. Great. Then stop advocating for dickhead. Donald Trump is not a conservative. He's a fascist. The end. Don't argue. You're wrong. If you were advocating for a real conservative candidate, you wouldn't pick someone married 3 times who's committed adultery on all 3 of his wives, including the current whore. That's what she was. You wouldn't pick him as your family values candidate if you were advocating for somebody with real conservative values. You wouldn't have advocated for him to be the fiscally responsible Republican candidate had you accepted what you knew is that he went bankrupt 6 times and never accepted responsibility for it. That's probably the biggest failure. Going bankrupt, trying something that didn't work and it ruined you financially is one thing. Not learning from it and doing it 5 more times and still blaming it on somebody else? Holy shit, is that an accomplishment? You found enough stupid people like Gunther Eagleman and Benny Johnson to not only believe, but further push your bullshit. Tell me again how I'm not talking about a cult environment. I will always fight against rhinos and fascist liberal fucks. That just shows you don't know the political spectrum. Liberals are communist, not fascist. Fascist are Republicans, right wing, like your bitch boy, DJ TJ. That's Junior. Donald Jessica. Communists are liberal. I know climate change is a hoax. Hoax, yeah. I know climate change is a hoax. Well, I think we've already shown you don't know that much. And nothing's changed from item number 1 to 12 or wherever we're at. I know J6 was not an insurrection. Well, now you're just a fucking dick. Because if you can look at that video of police officers, sworn police officers, actual badge and gun carrying law enforcement, life living good citizens, actual, what was the word? Patriots. If you can stand to see them beaten by domestic terrorists like you, and then turn around and say that you back the blue, you are a special kind of stupid and evil, flat out. Because January 6th, you're right about ish. I mean, a blind squirrel finds a nut. January 6th was not an insurrection. It was a coup, a failed coup. That because of asshats like you, found a rebirth when the actual election that was stolen was in 2024. And if you don't have your head up Donald Trump's ass, you can see plainly your Texas Republicans, Gunther, are trying to do it again. Speaking of which, I know the 2020 election was stolen. You're a pussy and a sore loser, is all you know. Donald Trump's own Department of Homeland Security called the 2020 election, and I quote, the most secure election in history. Accept it, bitch boy. 2020 lost, and 2024, as well as 2016, were the elections that were stolen. It's just your bitch daddy projecting. I know Barack Obama is a Kenyan. Once again, blind squirrels find nuts. He's also an American, born of American parents. Sorry that makes your pussy hurt. Get over it, bitch. I know George Floyd OD'd. Maybe. He was also murdered. The end. Stop being a racist ass. And yes, because I'll bet if that little bitch that had his mommy drive him across state lines so he could go shoot other black people, if he was the one that was dead, oh, heaven forbid a patriot dies. I will never give up my guns. Well, tell that to Donald Trump, because he's the one that's going to come try to take them. Think about it. What fascist government do you know allows even their loyal bitches like you to keep their guns? Doesn't happen, bitch boy. I stand with President Trump. Yeah, you and a lot of other sheep. Doesn't make you smart. It doesn't make you brave. It makes you what I've been calling you, a pussy. A blind pussy. Because clearly the only thing on your dial is Fox News. Or what's the new one now? Newsmax. That shit's even worse. So, Yeah, I'll put this guy in the chat so you can terrorize him. Speaking of the chat, let's get back to that. Superfan Ken, what's the time frame that people come back to watch normally? I don't have no idea what you're asking. What am I reading from? This is a Twitter account. Like I said, I'll put it in the chat. By the way, the email that I read yesterday had a link on it to open it in the app. And I thought that if I pressed that button, it would open in my browser. But no, it actually wanted me to download the Substack app, which is where this email was also published. And I can't do that I have it on my phone. I can't do that on my desktop. So I copied and pasted the entire thing. That is available. And if you do ask for yesterday's show notes, that email is available at mastiff.media go to the more tab over on the far right. And one of the options is news and blog info. And my open letter is the most recent, and it's Ben's email to his listeners and followers and whatever. And then my reaction is that, I offered to all these people partnership with Mastiff.media for us to host their site, for us to host their radio show, for us to host their station, should they want one. And they're crazy not to. So I'm going to take that segment from yesterday's show, my 25-minute open letter, and send it to all those people and say, hey, you're welcome here. We welcome you. We'll protect you because not even you will know how to get to the server that you access. Okay, so that's Gunther with a C. I could share that, actually. Here's the screen share, I think. Where did it go? It's actually not. That's weird. I don't know why. That's that one. Well, this is the one. This is the one application that opens on my desktop that doesn't share. But this is what I was reading from. This is Twitter. This is this asshat's account. I don't know if does it pop up? Maybe. No, it's not an attractive picture. I don't know how, but I've seen it before. Oh, there you go. There it is. That's douchebag. Looking all tough with the shades. Almost like he's one of the wannabe ICE agents. It's just painful. And there he's got the American flag. I proudly display the American flag as part of my brand and logo. I'm also not going to lie. I also use it to reel in stupid people like this guy. I don't know if that's his actual name, is David J. Freeman. But for whatever reason, he's got 1.5 million followers. I don't get it. Is that his email? No, it's just the messaging thing. I want to email him. I don't just want to message it. I want to actually get something that he's going to get. This is what has his panties in a wad. Some girl that works at, like, I don't know, Spencer Gifts has all these piercings. Liberal thinks Trump admitted to being a dictator. Everything he does admits to being a dictator. That's what he does. Admit it. And here's another asshat. Benny Johnson. Oh, I'm probably going to see him tomorrow because I'm taking the news van, the Mastiff Media news van, and going to this dinner in Newport Richey that the Pasco County Republican Party is hosting for Roger Stone. But I'm going to go. And Benny Johnson is from Tampa. So I'm guessing that he's probably going to be there because he's up all those people's asses. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. But he puts out stuff like this. He does this thing where he puts the siren, or it's actually not a siren, it's an emergency light. Police cars, revolving light. Like, hey, this is going to get their attention. He's not smart enough to realize that when he puts it literally in every post, kind of blends in with all this other bullshit. But at least he switched from breaking, in all capitals, to huge. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent reveals the Trump administration may bring in over $300 billion from tariffs. Yeah, they're called taxes. That money comes from American people. And these people, there's a so-called financial expert who I guess doesn't have the balls to do his job and sit the president down and say, dude, you're fucking shit up. It's not that hard. I just did it. There you go. World saved. America first. Stop fucking shit up. But no, these people are sheep and just want to ride a bandwagon. And I'm not saying that Democrats are much different. I'm not saying that. But I haven't seen any Democrat in my 30 plus years of studying presidential history. I haven't seen a Democrat during a midterm or any other off year from a census conduct another census with skewed dynamics for the sole purpose of redistricting federal districts for Congress. I've never seen another Democrat instruct states to redistrict their parameters such that the new districts pick up more same party seats. Never seen that before. So even if there's no actual law against it, there is this thing. The 3 Ps of HR. Policy is what is written down. In this case, the law. Procedure is any manual or court ruling that supports a law. And practice. Practice is what we do every day. All 3 of those need to be in conjunction with one another. They need to be the same thing. Because in HR, if you are doing something that is not according to procedure and is in violation in policy, but your boss knows that you're doing that something and you are not corrected, and you continue to do said something, whatever it is, you're not the one at fault. Your boss is. Because they knowingly let you violate that policy and procedure without correcting you, thereby letting you think it's okay. Similarly, when you continue to only look at a census and the resulting federal districts every 10 years when a census is completed, then that's when it's completed. That's when it's done. And now the only thing coming from you doing it, like Trump is now, during an off year, after he's had a disastrous first 6 months, and he's already coming up on a midterm election that he knows he's going to lose. Why else would you do this? If your policies are so good that America is great again already, and we've done so much in this 6 months. Yeah, you've done a lot to fuck shit up. But I digress. You've done so much in this past 6 months. What's the purpose? Why do we need to change all these federal districts to support us when we should be able to do it campaigning? Like real men and strong women. Oh, but we don't like strong women. That's also not good. We like strong women in bikinis and big titties, wearing red baseball hats that say MAGA bitch on them. That's where they belong. Yeah. I got to take a break. When we come back, we'll actually take a look at Benny Johnson's post here and listen to Secretary Scott Bessent. I always said it was Bennett. Scott Bessent, fellow gay guy, actually. Between him and Tim Cook, I don't know which one's stupid or more stupid. Whatever. This is Up the Middle on the Mastiff Media Network. We'll be back right after this. What are you doing later? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to the gym, but not just any gym. Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Walk right up to the door. There's a QR code on the door. You can sign up right there. You've got no excuse. But not only that, their equipment is amazing. It's kept up well. It's expanded. There's stretching area. There's CrossFit. There's hardcore training. A dedicated area for stretching. Dunk tanks. Sauna. Everything you need to get that Hernando beach body or keep your Clearwater beach body. You can train with your shirt off. You can scream. You can yell. And you won't be intimidated either. Go to Momentum Fitness and Wellness on US 19 in Bayonet Point, Jasmine Estates. Build the momentum at Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Hey gang, it's Jurgs, host of Up the Middle. With my university degrees in history and political science and 21 years as a special agent in U.S. Secret Service, I've lived what others can only talk about. Join me, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific, Monday through Friday, on Jurgs Radio, Rainbow Radio, and Right Talk Radio. Up the Middle. Politics for the rest of us. Dope. Didn't realize that second commercial wasn't as long. Turning fans on and turning on some AC. All right. So this is Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, being a good little sheepdog, lapdog, I guess, whatever the word I was trying to use. Let me. There we go. Hold on. I think you should be able to hear this. Oh.
The Treasury Secretary, I like to be conservative, but there's a chance that I'm going to have to substantially upgrade that number. And Maria, the way to think about it for your viewers is every $300 billion is 1% of GDP. We were left with a mess. The deficit to GDP, 6.5, 6.7%, highest when we were not.
This asshat and his boss are in 7 months. 7 months. And already they've increased the debt more than $1 trillion. In their first term, which, to be fair to douchebag here, which he wasn't part of, they increased the debt $8 trillion. So essentially, they're on par to do it all over again. $1 trillion every 6 months is $2 trillion a year, $8 trillion in 1 4-year term. Mission accomplished. They're doing it again. And once again, it's the Democrats' fault. Why? Because this asshat has no balls, and Gunther Eagleman is a sheep, as are the other asshats that follow these people. That's why we're calling today and every other discussion about the behavior of these people a cult.
Recession, not at war. So just the tariff revenue can bring that down into the fives, which fits with this administration's plan of getting the deficit to GDP back into the threes, the long-term average, before President Trump leaves office. I think August, September.
Before President Trump leaves office. Well, that's contradictory to what he's actually saying. They've already printed Trump 2028. If you are a real patriot, if you fancy yourself being an actual American, that should piss you off. Unless you're a pussy like Gunther Eagleman. Yeah, maybe.
It's going to be a very good test. I've been saying that I think we can take in $300 billion, and as the Treasury Secretary, I like to be conservative, but there's a chance that I'm going to have to substantially upgrade that number. And Maria, the way to think about it for your viewers is every $300 is 1% of GDP. We were left with a mess. The deficit to GDP at 6.7%, highest when we were not in a recession, not at war. So just the tariff revenue can bring that down into the fives, which fits with this administration's plan of getting the deficit to GDP back into the threes, the long-term average, before President Trump leaves office.
Yeah, okay, whatever. I think we played that a second time, but that's fine. Oh, what you're also seeing, by the way, is something I've seen throughout more than 22, 23 years of my law enforcement career. And that is legitimizing. He's taking what he knows to be poor behavior. He would never live his life like this. Don't think that this gay guy, I'm saying because I know he is, he's one of my people. We don't claim him, but he is. We don't take this gay guy. Don't think that he is out there living this extravagant life that he can't afford. He's living a good life on your dime as a fellow federal employee. You are his boss. And when he comes to you and says he's due for a raise, tell him he's also due for a performance evaluation. Because you would never say that you paying for something is income. The other people would. But if you as a parent say to bring in the neighbor's vegetables from their garden because they're better vegetables than what are growing in your garden, but you're going to make the kids in your family, your children, pay for those vegetables for you, would you not say that indeed your children are paying for those vegetables? That's what's happening here. The $300 billion that he's saying the government is gaining in revenue, he's not telling you that it's coming from the children. And in some cases, literally, when you consider the programs that they've cut at the same time. So not only are you having to take your allowance and give it back to mommy and daddy, but you're not getting your allowance. That's what's happening here. This so-called expert cannot sit there and tell you honestly where that money's coming from because he doesn't want to admit it. What every other expert, literally every other expert in the world that doesn't have a capital R past their name, and even some that do, have said, we, the people, are the actual source of that $300 billion. So there they are, Fox News, Fox Business, putting up on the screen. Actually, I thought they had a date. Oh, just 7:08 was the time. I thought I saw a date for this too. Putting up on the screen tariff revenue, citing the Treasury Department as their source. So it must be an expert, right? $28.4 billion in July. Yeah, what color is the background? Blue, because that's who's paying it. The people who never wanted to pay for this. The people who were smart enough to say we should not be paying this. Blue is Democrat. That's what Fox does. A lot like mine. All the things they do as far as graphics and branding, there's all some sort of Illuminati clandestine message behind it. That's what that is. I promise you, that's the discussion that was had. Yeah, there's your expert. It's Superfan Ked says, "You're good, Yergs. The children can't hear this at all. They're all currently in school." Not up in Pennsylvania, actually, where I'm from. They don't start till after Labor Day. But I don't know who's where and whatever else. He doesn't have any pronouns. I'll be willing to bet he doesn't realize that he uses pronouns daily. Yeah, he's not that bright, so I would imagine he's talking about Eagleman. I know you didn't see Travis's comments, but could Eagleman be a troll account? I kind of sort of think they all are. Because, I mean, these people can't be this stupid, can they? Shout out to Travis. I'm pretty sure Travis is Travis Evans. He's got a show it's on hiatus right now, usually on Tuesday evenings, called Travis Evans, or The Point with Travis Evans. Good discussion show. Also political, but also lifestyle. Don't say that part. These people can't be that stupid. Yeah, I know. I'm amazed every day at what really exists in this world. That's like saying, hold my beer. Yeah, I know that they challenge themselves, don't they? Okay, what's next? So when we're talking about cultish behavior, one of the things that is a usual is their pushback, which is, hello. And it's both sides here, pro and anti-Trump, dig their heels into the ground and say, we're right. We're the ones that are the patriots. We're the ones that are correct. We're the ones that are making America great again. The best thing that you can do for yourself and your country is stop and take a breath and self-evaluate. Something I do every day. Yes, I will admit the price of gas has actually come down in like the 280s, even 270, 278, I think it was, but 2 weeks ago. During the Trump administration. Now, that's the part that's going to be isolated and not included with this next part. But the very next day, it was back up to $3.20 or more per gallon. That's worse than the stability that former President Biden was able to provide during his administration. Just the comfort and the security of knowing that you can go to the pumps and pay a certain price and not have the sticker shock. When you're one of those dishwashers or construction workers, or like what's happening right outside right now, groundskeepers that are mowing my neighbor's yard, groundskeepers, landscapers that are mowing my neighbor's yard. Imagine when you use something like that, weed whackers, riding mowers, etc., that operates on gas. And you have to start your week or manage to get over hump day at $3.20 a gallon. When last night you were trying to get your children home to bed and you didn't stop to fill up when it was $2.90. And now you got to fill your pickup truck that hauls a trailer full of more gas guzzling equipment. And you're spending an extra 30 or 40 cents a gallon for an 18 plus, maybe a 20-gallon gas tank. Or maybe you've got a truck that's got 2 gas tanks because you're driving all over the area that much. Think about this. Just because you didn't stop, because you were being, I don't know, maybe family values, and you were taking your kids home to bed. $0.30 times 36, if you have 2 18-gallon tanks, like some of these trucks do. It's another $10.80 that you're spending just to fill those tanks. You didn't even fill your equipment yet. Maybe you got 3 weed whackers, so that's $1.90 more that you're spending per gallon for 3 gallons. Now you're up to $12.70. You didn't even start the riding mowers yet. You now have to work an extra hour because you were a good parent and you took your kids home the night the gas was $2.80 or even $2.90 because I had 30 cents, not 40 cents, instead of $3.20. But no, supporting this guy, you're not part of a cult. You're a patriot because you take it in a dick so this guy can become even more of a billionaire. That's not being a patriot. It's being a dumbass. Gets it. Mark this number down. Don't call it today because it's not on. But for those of you outside the United States and want to call and be part of the program, we'll soon be able to have WhatsApp once we get that figured out. For right now, this is up. You can call 1-888-88-YERGS, 844-GAY-LGBT. Share with us your story. Have you had to fill up when it was more or less? What is the price of gas where you're at? And that other thing we've been talking about for so long, eggs. How much you paying for a dozen eggs? Also, mark that email, or rather website, mastiff.media. Regardless of what platform you're watching or listening to us on now, mastiff.media is our website. The show is live there every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific. Let's do the... See, that would be... Oh, what the hell is this? I have no idea what the hell just happened to my world time buddy. But Was I signed in? I thought I was. Oh, Jesus. Thought it was this. What the hell? There's a website that we recommend. And it's, I don't have no idea what the hell it was. I'm not dicking with it now. WorldTimeBuddy.com was did have I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know if like everything shit the bed. Like my Google voice, I it must have when I did my email thing with I'm signing up for the Google Office, whatever that is, and I think everything kind of blanked out because now there's like nothing signed in on all the different tabs that I have. Oh, son of a bitch. Yeah, everything's signed out. Motherfucker. Well, I can't dick with that now. But weekdays, point being, weekdays, 11 a.m. This World Time Buddy was awesome. And I don't know what account I had to log into it. I just thought I used it. Did I sign in with Facebook? Feature unavailable on Facebook. Or was it? Yeah, so it allows you to have all these times or all these different cities listed on like this world clock. And it just converts it for you immediately, automatically. So, what if I did this? I know it's in my pinned URLs. Oh, it even went back to old shit. Oh, for God's sake. Oh, this is killing me. Is this even, I don't even know if this is, oh, that wasn't even, oh, thank God. That wasn't even, there we go. All right, look at this. This is awesome. I was using the wrong browser. It was still the one that I had when we were using Twitter earlier. There we go. This is World Time Buddy. So just hold it over here. And there we are. 11 a.m. is where we're at here in Tampa. It's 4 p.m. in London. 1,700 hours. See, it switches it automatically because that's what they use there. 1,700 hours in Berlin. 1,700 hours in Rome. 1,800 hours in Tel Aviv, Kyiv. I know that's also Moscow. 8 p.m. in Lahore, Pakistan. 11 p.m. in Perth, Australia, home of Dare Media Group. Midnight the next day in Tokyo, and 1 a.m. the next day in Melbourne, Sydney, and Canberra. And so that's when we start. Bookmark that address that's on your screen, www.mastiff.media. Because when this regime, when this cult continues and begins to attack the free press even further, I've already lost my LinkedIn account. I've already been restricted on TikTok and believed to be, I even think I might be phantom, what's that called? Phantom, shadow banned on, what is that? Oh, hide. Shadow banned on Instagram. Why? Because not that many people were watching, and I used to get a good following. Shout out to those who are. Welcome. We're ranting today about the cult that is the MAGA Republicans. So there it is, World Time Buddy, and I'm not signed in. I just thought I was just using it, and this is what comes up every day. WorldTimeBuddy.com, great website and application. Love this thing. Up here is where you can switch. If you want everything in your AM PM, then there it is. If you want everything in military time, because that's how you roll, there you go. But if you want it mixed so that it's set up to what they use in that market, like the usual thing, like I said in Rome, is they use 24-hour or military time. So it's 1,800 hours right now. 1814, actually. Yeah, very cool website. Love this thing. And what I'm doing is adding all the other Google features by paying the monthly thing. I just started a 2-week trial today, and we'll see what that's like. But I mean, I already know that it's something that I'm going to put to use. So, yeah, there's the phone number, there's the website. Email us any questions, comments, sarcastic remarks to info@mastiff.media. I'll get that. Some other team members will get that, and we'll get back to you. All right. So here's what some of the other people are saying about the Trump loyalty and cult phenomenon. Look, I'm not saying that he is the only president to have a strong following. I'm not saying that at all. That's not true. In fact, I'm not saying that he's the only president to have a, fall on the sword type following. Biden had it. Obama had it. Right or wrong, there are people that will stand with their man. Or woman, as we almost add. But that too is a certain level of cult. And any decent president is going to be a charismatic leader. For as sleepy as Joe Biden was, he had his moments. Sometimes it was more of the fireside chat type attitude, where he was a little more chill and a little bit more relaxing. But he was smart enough to know that's what was needed at the time. Presidents don't like to admit that they're wrong, but they also do take the blame when it's necessary. The guy stepped out of running for re-election, for God's sake. That's kind of an admission that I know it ain't going to happen. And yeah, sometimes they will try to deflect or deny. I did not have sex with that woman. But then what happened? He admitted it and flat out said that the reason he did, and we're talking about Bill Clinton, was because he could. I don't know how you can get more honest than that. But a charismatic leadership also comes with a certain level of authority. This is what they're going to project. And do so with a hope or intention of creating a certain bond between that leader and the followers, supporters, sheep, whatever you want to call them. oftentimes they'll come off as though they're the chosen one. Sometimes they'll say that quite literally. And in some cases, by God or whatever other higher power or fate, or at least in a democratic process, you. So now where's that go? When they say, and this is early Trump, when he says, you chose me to do this. Or perhaps, vote for me and you'll never have to vote again. How does that not piss you off? No, I know it was Trump. He doesn't mean it. Yes, he does. I've been saying this. Yes, he does. Remember when he said, I could stand out on Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and not lose any votes? Well, what do you think he's doing on Fifth Avenue right now? And on Main Street in downtown Los Angeles, and on North Capitol Street, or in the Northwest downtown of Washington, D.C., with ICE agents that I still stand by my original assessment that they're not actual 1811 sworn federal agent ICE agents. They're deputized members of the Proud Boys and oath seekers or keepers or whatever the hell they are. Their tactics are horrible. And no, we, real federal agents, do not wear white sneakers and blue LA Dodger hats while on an op. Op, short for operation. Sorry, I'm nerding out for a little bit. But this charismatic leader is not going to admit, this cult leader, a good president will admit when something went wrong and they'll take the responsibility for it. But cultist leaders will not. And the reason for that is because they're not wrong. How can you be wrong when you're the victim and you're that patriot that somebody else put in your profile? You're the one saving the day. You are that chosen one. What do I say about this show? Don't listen to me. Take the information that I give you every day and let that be your starting point. Do your own homework and make your own decision. Don't listen to me. Don't go to lunch or don't come back from lunch and say to your coworkers, Yergs said this, praise Jesus. No. It's Yergs said this. I got to fact check that bitch and make sure he's right. And when you find out that I am right, you'll also learn something else. That's the job that I do for you, is give you that starting point. This guy is the start and the finish. That is brainwashing. That is, what was the word they were using. Ken, help me out. What was the word that they use for when they take the kids and they grooming? That is grooming. They're grooming you to be his bitch. That's it. Howard Stern said it best about this guy. He doesn't like you. You can't do anything for him anymore. He doesn't need you. He doesn't like you. All you do is get in his way. He's the parent that never wanted the kids. Yeah, I actually do this too for gas. I use the Circle K app in combination with the Upside app, which allows me to get some money back. I don't use the Upside, but I do have the Circle K app. I get 10 cents off. So that's why for me, it was down to $2.75 or something last week or the week before. Oh, look at this. Somebody selling on my Supervan. Ken says, anybody wants the Upside app for helping with gas? I have an invite code W63TA. Oh, I only wish you'd gave me that sooner. I could have put that in a, maybe we'll take a break and I'll put that into a tone tip. Speaking of Travis Evans, good afternoon. Travis, the host of The Point with Travis Evans. Yeah, I think, I know, Travis. Have you been listening to me for the past hour and 25 minutes? I'm a little animated today. I'm a little passionate. But for the next hour, well, starting at 1 o'clock and then half an hour from now, I'm going to chill out with my dogs. We're going to have lunch. I'm going to relax a little bit. I live this. It's every day. And I'm going to constantly remind all of you to do your own homework, to take what I say and give to you and use it as the starting point. That's what I want for you. And that is a genuine care that I give each day so that this does not become a cult. I want to do that math again, actually, with the 40 cents that I actually, well, if I had, let's say it was $2.75, so 25 cents to $3, 45 cents. Times 36, if I filled 2 tanks, $16.20 that I would have saved by not going home with my kids in the back. And then 3 weed whackers. See, 20, 45, 90. Plus $1.35 for 3 weed whackers. $17.55 that I would have saved. If I had a truck like the guy outside with 2 18-gallon gas tanks, 3 weed whackers, and 2 riding mowers, probably 10 gallons of gas each. So another $4.50. $22.05 to fill up. $22.05 more to fill up when the price is at $3.20 a gallon without the discount versus $2.75 with when it's at $2.85 without a discount. So, yeah. No, this isn't a cult at all. for Trump as a charismatic leader, there's so much that should have been seen coming. The nepotism. He talks about the crooked Biden crime family. Really? Your son-in-law, who you did not admit to knowing when he couldn't pass a background check. Let's not forget that, by the way. We're talking about a democratic government, the democratic republic that is the United States, where everyone is to play by a certain set of rules, to include senior staff and any senior people of the elected officials, everybody, president on down through the executive branch, each of the 535 members of Congress all the way down through the legislative branch, each of the 9 members of the court all the way down through the judicial branch. Everybody plays by a certain set of rules. So when your personally chosen son-in-law, and we're going back to Trump 1.0 now, your personally chosen son-in-law can't pass a background check because the CIA and the FBI have come to you and said, we've got some problems here. Dude has some issues that we have some questions about. We need to address those questions before we can say that he can do his job. And dear leader just overrides that. He says, nah, he'll be okay. Everything's fine. And everybody's like, what? That's not what we do here. Well, that's what we're going to do. He's going to be. Then he steps on his dick. And you're like, well, I don't really know him. I see him around the White House. It's your son-in-law. He's stooping your daughter, the one you want to stoop. Remember the one you said you would date? He's doing it. Hardcore. Ring included. And you don't know him well? There again, ladies and gentlemen, is your candidate for family values. There he is. This is the guy who, during the lame duck period of 1.0, Trump's first term, goes to the Middle East 3 times because he's on a mission for the president and comes back with what? $2 billion of investments. Not into infrastructure like Biden is about to do. Not into peace in the Middle East like so many presidents before you. But $2 billion for Jared, the guy you don't know, just see around the White House on occasion. But if somebody were to actually ask you about that, God forbid your feet be held to the fire. God forbid you answer up to things you've done wrong, because as we've said before, Donnie Boy does no wrong. He's being treated improperly by the liberal media. I can be conservative as the next talking head. It's just that this particular Republican here is the one that keeps stepping on his dick. Yeah, there are liberals that are probably screwed up that I could talk about too, and I will. But they ain't in the White House. They ain't screwing shit up on this level. At all. Not even close. But if we say this, if we point this out to the sheep that follow this guy, we're the asshole. Because we just don't get it. Or we're libtards and commies and all kinds of other. And I called some names too today, sheep being one of them. But I have a call scheduled in the next couple of days. Probably, I don't think it'll be till next week, where I'm going to guest on David Beckmeyer's podcast. And I'd love to have him back here for this very conversation. And we're going to talk about how divisive we've become as a nation. How I've mentioned my own two brothers. I don't hate my brothers at all. I don't hate Donald Trump. I don't hate anyone. If nothing more than for the reason that is not what a Christian does. I'm not pushing my faith on you. Don't think that. You have your faith. Go with it. But I can't sit here and say that I too am a Christian and then turn around and hate somebody like Gunther Eagleman does. These things are not built to be used without a straw, which I should probably go get. I don't hate anybody. There's just a lot of things I don't like a lot. I think we need to work on it. But one of those things that needs to be worked on is attitude. Donnie's attitude. That's what I think of that. And so, yeah, I'm probably going to have to sit here and smell that for the next half an hour. When he radicalizes, in this case, the Republican Party, and puts people like Laura Trump, his daughter-in-law, his son Eric's wife, in charge of the Republican Party. She was made co-chair with the actual political expert that was there originally until that person was forced out for obvious reasons. There's not going to be room for two of you, not in that circle of friends. And we talk about, you think it's just with the Republican Party. You think it's just with that side of what It really is beyond the Republican Party. It's beyond just the White House. It is the Republican Party to include conservative justices on the court, a third of which he owns. He put them there. If you think that there may not be some future opportunity to show gratitude and as such loyalty, well, ask Nixon if he ever felt that he had immunity for doing some certain official acts. Nobody thought so then. That one still boggles my mind. I'm not surprised that a bunch of conservative hacks overturned Roe versus Wade and are probably going to try to overturn Obergefell as well. That's gay marriage. But that you actually lowered your own authority. And that's what they did. What happens when they do another 9-0 ruling against the president and he whacks one of them? You think that's not going to be considered as an official act? He's doing it now. There have been bodies found. Did you see this yet? At Alligator Auschwitz. I don't call it Alcatraz. Alcatraz housed criminals. Auschwitz housed persecuted people, just like Alligator Auschwitz does in southern Florida. There have been bodies found already. You don't hear about that, do you? We ran out of time last week. We were going to do a story about how a judge halted construction at Alligator Auschwitz. And I don't say that in any demeaning way towards the Jewish folks of whose families or whose ancestors or whose fellow Jews were persecuted during the Holocaust. It's in remembrance of that I use because of the similarity. Maybe it's not to the same severity. I hope not. But didn't we also once say any loss of life is a severe loss of life? And I stand by that. It's Alligator Auschwitz. This God-given bullshit. You can't tell me that a Christian God would be okay with Alligator Auschwitz, like all of his followers are. Tell me how that makes sense. Oh, well, they're here illegally. So is Donald Trump's mom. So were, 2 out of 3 of his wives? That means Donald and 4 out of 5 of his kids are anchor babies. Because the second daughter, I forget what her name is, the one from Marla Maples, his second wife, is the only one born of a legitimate, legal American parent. Watch what you wish for, Donald. That can quickly circle and bite you in the ass or in the pussy. Again, watch what you wish for. Sportcat's going to be checking in soon. I got to take one more break. When we come back, wrap up today's gripe session about part 1 of the cult that is the MAGA Republican Party and Donald Trump. And we'll take a look tomorrow. I don't know if I'm actually going to get to it tomorrow because we have Matt in, but next week we'll take a look at some of his actual behaviors. Now, first of all, when I said I was going to get to this yesterday and didn't, I said one of the things that I've been saying is that Donald Trump is a fascist. And when I said that a year and a half ago, I was laughed at. Blake Fisher accused me of calling everyone a fascist with whom I disagree. That's not true. I don't do that. And I proved that in that moment. And he begrudgingly kind of shrugged, and I took that as him admitting that he'd been bested and proven wrong, because that's the only thing I knew I was going to get from him. But the other comparison that I'm seeing very plainly, probably because, again, I've spent the past 30 plus years studying this shit, are his similarities to other fascist leaders. I'll leave it at that. However, I know you've already put some names in place of other fascist leaders and drawn those conclusions. Don't worry, you're not alone. And I'm not telling you that I've done it too. I have, you know that, but that's not who I'm referring to. My point being, with the assessment of fascism, with the comparison of his behaviors to those of other fascist leaders, there is a similarity that's being realized by society as a whole. Not just talking heads like me. You're finally seeing it in the media. You're finally seeing people referring to it as such in social media and in conversation, just like the one that I hope you have with your friends and family. I got to take a break. When we come back, we'll hear from Sportcat, because I think I probably rambled long enough, and see what's happening today on Sportcat's Daily Gazette. Also, we'll check out what's left in the chat and comments. Phone lines are still open. If you want to end today with a call, you're welcome to it. 1-888-88-YERGS, 844-GAY-LGBT. That's it. We'll be right back. We'll wrap things up. We'll be back after these words. What are you doing later? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to the gym, but not just any gym. Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Walk right up to the door. There's a QR code on the door. You can sign up right there. You've got no excuse. But not only that, their equipment is amazing. It's kept up well. It's expanded. There's stretching area. There's CrossFit. There's hardcore training. A dedicated area for stretching. Dunk tanks. Sauna. Everything you need to get that Hernando beach body, or keep your Clearwater beach body. You can train with your shirt off. You can scream. You can yell. And you won't be intimidated either. Go to Momentum Fitness and Wellness on US 19 in Bayonet Point, Jasmine Estates. Build the momentum at Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Daily Crypto News. Daily Crypto News now available on Yerg's Radio, Rainbow Radio, Shady News Radio, and the rest of the Mastiff Media Network. Also available at dailycryptonews.net and wherever you get your podcasts. Hosted by our very own Matt Deemer, who will be back in tomorrow for Up the Middle Friday Fights. Every Friday, same time. Hi, baby. Daddy's wrapping up. You want to come up and say hi? Come up here. Come over this side. Speaking of Shady News Radio, come here. Shady. Come up. Come up. There she is, everybody. This is Shady from Shady News Radio. Speak. Kisses. I love you. But you're not going to give me kisses. On the air. On the radio. Here, put these on. Hi, baby girl. Hello. Okay. Can you hear Daddy? Daddy's on the radio. Makes you kind of amazed by that. All right, get down. The namesake of Shady News Radio. Matt's the namesake of Daily Crypto News. Check him out by scanning the QR code on the screen or go to dailycryptonews.net or wherever you get your podcasts. Available on Spotify, Apple, all of them, dailycryptonews.net. So, yes, the fourth child is Tiffany, was the name I couldn't think of earlier. And I'm not getting a Yeti. I'm not spending $50 or $60 for a thermos or for a tumbler, whatever you want to call it. That is ridiculous. I got this at Ollie's. I got another one for not even $50 for two of them. And they keep shit just as warm or just as cold. And I don't know, but for whatever reason, you're not supposed to be able to make instant iced tea, Kool-Aid and shit like that in a metal pitcher. I put 2 iced tea packets in there, shake it up, and it's just as good. There's nothing wrong with it. What's Talking Head Ken saying here? Superfan Ken says to remember, like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, bookmark, have a conversation. Absolutely. And for me, get the Upside app. Oh, that's I thought you were talking about tone tips. Get the Upside app to get the gas discount. Remember, his code is W63EA. I'll have to remember that so I can get a screen grab of that so I can put that up for you later. There we go. Get a screen grab. I'll find the Upside app and get the logo and create a little QR code thing. Wait a minute, let's get rid of that though. There we go. Other things with what questions do you have about cult? And it can be beyond the Trump administration as well. Here are some things that happened in the chat while you were gone. For Instagram, Instagram chat is not connected to the chat that you see on the screen. So I got to share the screen that it's on. And so here's some folks that had joined. My friend Eric is 1905 hardwood. Reagan was loved by all. We now have magazines in the store celebrating his presidency. I would push back on loved by all, but he did leave a legacy. Can you imagine the endless pile of magazines we will see in the grocery store titled for Trump? I think there's going to be a lot, if something like that gets put out, I think there's going to be a lot sold just because it's his people buying it. Yeah, I don't think anybody that really cares about presidential history is going to get a Trump magazine. And he also says, to be fair, there is some press on the Obama legacy, but I've not seen a single magazine yet. I don't know. I think when he's saying magazine, he's probably talking about an entire magazine, like Time magazine, doing something like that to commemorate the legacy of said president. Yeah, I don't know that there's been something in its entirety for Obama yet, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that it happens eventually. I think it will. I got to see some of these. I know who that one is, Simon. So yeah, thanks to everybody that's joined on Instagram, as well as Rumble, Twitter, DLive, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Awesome. Hello, everybody. We're wrapping up today. I'll be back tomorrow for Friday Fights. Let's get this out. Sportcat is up next. I don't know where he's at. He's usually on here by now. Glenn Sportcat Jackson is up next with Sportcat's Daily Gazette. I'm going to check my YouTube messages just to make sure. But Sportcat is up next with Sportcat's Daily Gazette. You can... Oh, maybe not. What's that? No. Just send a quick message to him, see what's up. Sportcat is up next with Sportcat's Daily Gazette. You can find him by staying on Yerg's Radio or the folks at Dare Media Group. He's also, like me, on their stations. You can also get him by going to Para or Normal Guys on YouTube, or just search Sportcat Shows. And I said he's usually on by now. I don't know where he's at. I don't have anybody else to talk to. I'm lonely. Yeah, here's another thing we're going to have to take a look at.
So I'm here.
Yeah, here we go. This guy, oh, we cannot get this guy out of office fast enough. We don't have a border with another country. Does he understand this? But here he is putting another alligator Auschwitz together, a deportation depot. DeSantis announces second site for immigration detention facility. I just wish this guy did something with insurance, like he said he was going to. I wish this guy did something with property taxes, like he said he was going to. And stop doing this racially biased bullshit. What would Donald Trump say? So sad. So sad. Well, probably wouldn't say that, but all right. I think he's back there. What's going on, man?
Oh, having technical issues, but I'm getting by.
What do you got working or not working, as it were?
I don't know if I got any weird news of the day or not. I don't think I got anything too major, just the normal stuff. The conspiracy people are going nuts over. They think Donald Trump's going to take over every city and town in the USA. So
I don't think every. I just think the blue ones.
well, why stop there? If you're going to do it, why not just go for all of them? I mean, shit.
Well, see, that's. I didn't get to watch it yet, but I know already that's what your guy from yesterday is going to say. The one who has finally admitted it's going to be the Republicans that come after his guns.
So I don't know. Did he admit that? I don't remember. I've watched so many videos.
I thought that was in like I said, I didn't watch it yet, but that was in the title.
I think he talks like it could happen. I don't know if he says it does, but it's not going to happen.
I mean, mathematically, that is the only one that's going to do it. Because
that's scare. That's just scare stuff. It ain't going to happen. And that's what these shows like to do, is scare people.
I remember
I tell the truth.
I remember a short 4 or so years ago when everybody said Donald Trump was not going to happen a second time either. And look at where we're at.
Yeah, well, it happens.
Yeah, it does happen. That's the point.
Yeah. History is doomed to repeat itself.
There's no one listens the first time.
That's right. All right. Well, let me have the radio.
Okay.
And,
do that.
My chat is hopping.
The radio.
Yeah,
we've been reactive today too. We had as many as more than 30 people at a time, through social media. I know radio was hopping again this Friday or this Saturday rather. I'll hear the stats from Dare Media, see how we're doing on the Australian stations.
Sweet.
And, good growth.
I know that some of my viewers come over and listen because they know you and I get into it before the show, and they enjoy that. So
good.
They're like, yesterday somebody said Ross proclaimed himself as an asshole before the show started, and I said, and I agreed.
Yep. No, I'm not. See, that's why people need to listen to me and take what I give them and use it as the starting point, not as gospel, but as a starting point. Because I am not ignorant to the obvious. I know I can be a dick.
Yeah. I did have a question for you before I forget about it. So when the foreign leaders go to places like Trump's at right now, do they stay on Air Force One, or do they actually have a hotel or something? He's in Anchorage, Alaska. Yeah. I think it's Anchorage. Yeah, Alaska.
They have their security teams that come and do an advance as well. Some countries send less than others because those lesser countries rely on us to do it. And they'll send one person. Some will only send one person to coordinate everything that we do, and we'll have the advance team. Others, we'll have a counterpart for each member of their advance team.
So he would never stay on Air Force One then? He would have a place. Okay.
He would not stay on Air Force One. They'd stay in a hotel.
Okay. All right. That's what I was curious about.
Is Trump staying on Air Force One?
No, I don't know. That's why I was asking. I didn't know how that worked.
Yeah, no. I mean, he could. It's possible. Like, it's capable of being his home for a temporary time.
Sure.
But there's
hotels. It's not policy if it's like a small town or anything. Okay. That's what I was curious about. Okay. All right, man. Well, let me get out of here. To answer Ken's question, no, I do not.
What's Ken's question?
He asked if I had a gas app. And I said, no, I do not.
Oh, yeah. So I've got the information screen grabbed for Ken's Upside app and the discount code. So,
okay. Well, shoot it to me.
I guess he'll get a kickback probably when we sign up on that.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, let me get out of here. I got a button or two to push, and I will talk to you soon.
Yep. All right, man. See you tomorrow. Right.
Have a great show or a great day. See you soon.
Yep. Yeah, you too. Glenn Sportcat Jackson is up next with Sportcat's Daily Gazette. He's already on the radio. And if you're signing off here with the social media, go over to the Para or Normal Guys or search Sportcat Shows, either one, on YouTube and also Facebook. That's it, gang. Thanks for getting off the porch and running with the big dogs. I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good day.